Hey guys, it's Ken. It's been a busy morning. I got about an hour before I actually have to leave the house here, working from home, because I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning doing normal work stuff. As you guys know, our whole team is developers, as developers and team members and stuff. We're all volunteers, so we still have to work full time, all of our other jobs and everything like that. So wanted to get on here. I had about an hour in order to play with, to get on stream because we've had a few people say that we're not talking about the 51% attack, or anything like that. So any of you guys who checked out our Discord or looked on our Twitter, anything like that, we've now released a Medium post that man on the right, he's one of our marketing team members. He wrote this up, and we've all been kind of discussing it, just trying to put into words, making sure that people are aware of just kind of getting educated on this type of stuff. We've been talking about 51% attacks ever since that website first came out, 6 months or so ago. Where they actually labeled how much it would cost in order to 51% attack any proof of work chain. Now, the thing with that is that some of the numbers on that are not really accurate. So while it will say it costs you $200 in order to attack the chain, that may not necessarily be true. But in any case, I'm sure that website has spurred on plenty of people who wanted to be a bad actor, who wanted to either promote. So say if they had like a centralized master node system that would make it so that things like a 51% attack can happen, they may try to promote that. I know, some people have floated the idea of using funds in order to use NiceHash. So this is one of the things that we're kind of developing VertHash for. Is to completely eliminate the idea of rent to attack stuff with VertHash. VertHash, as you know, you can buy the hashing power. So if you have money, you can buy the hashing power, point it towards a particular pool that of your own choosing that you can write the rules on and stuff, and you can hash 51% of a network, and you're essentially doing a 51% attack without ever owning any of the hardware or anything. You just need the money in order to be able to rent it from NiceHash. So one of the things that we want to do with VertHash is eliminate that. We don't want anybody to be. It's kind of like when we forked from the previous algorithm to eliminate to really reduce the efficiency of CPU mining because there was a massive botnet that was being used to take over the system. Unfortunately, there's always people out there who want to abuse people's trust, people's systems, and find ways in order to poke stuff. That's been the case for everything since the beginning of time. So there's nothing new there. But we here at Vercoin, we have talked about 51% attacks now for a good 6 months. And so we got hit with one over the weekend. And something you guys need to take in mind is that 51% attacks, they really are used in the cases that we've seen here is for double spins. And now this affects exchanges specifically because an exchange like Bittrex will have a 300 block confirmation, which requires 300 blocks in order to confirm your transaction over to the exchange. So if they're able to double or have the 51% for a total of 305 blocks, in theory you can get around the confirmation limits on Bittrex. Now, we as a project have promoted that you do a percent variable. So obviously, a 300 confirmation block time for a 5 Vertcoin transfer is a little bit ridiculous. It's 5 Vertcoin. But now, if you're doing 50,000, obviously you need to take a little bit more time there. Now, that sucks because you don't know when a network is getting 51% attacked until after the fact, until all of the orphan blocks and everything like that are published. So you don't know when that's happening. But we ended up writing this response because a lot of people were saying, well, nobody's saying anything about the 51% attack. Well, that's because the majority of our team are working on solutions such as Lara 2 Rev 3, which we just talked about in just a previous Vertcoin talk. That is the hard fork that we're going to be doing in order to break the ASICs, or brick the ASICs. And when I say brick the ASICs, I mean for Vertcoin. Obviously, if there's any other coins that use our algorithm that we developed in order to run their blockchain, those ASICs can still run on those coins. However, they will not be able to run on Vertcoin. And at the end of the day, that's the only project that we have control over because we're the ones that developing the algorithm. Now, those other coins could adopt Rev 3, entirely possible. All of our stuff is open source, so anybody can use it, and more kudos to them for being able to stick to that ASIC resistance mindset. But we're putting in the work to make sure that we can get it done for our project. And then that's just that's a stopgap measure between now and when VertHash is finally finished. So I just wanted to go over kind of our response to we had a Coinbase engineer who had talked about the vulnerabilities of a 51% attack, and basically making the case that only if you have general hardware, aka GPUs, mining a coin, then you're susceptible to this. But if you have an ASIC only network, such as Bitcoin or Litecoin, you can't mine those with GPUs because of the difficulty. If you have those, then only the people with the ASICs can then 51% attack. So that's more secure. And my argument is that that's not any more secure, because just look at Bitcoin Cash. You just had a 51% hash war between two billionaires who are using nothing but ASICs, and they're having a pissing contest over who's going to win the longest form of work on the particular chain. That's why you had that. So it's not just exclusive to GPU coins and ones that focus on ASIC resistance. This is why we advocate P2 pool, and everybody mining on their own, and just to decentralize stuff as much as possible. But let me go over this here real quick. So this is the response that we had with regards to the 51% attack. Here you can see that it came to our attention once the orphan blocks got published. We automatically were like, okay, this is obviously some sort of an attack. But the Vertcoin developers, we have like I said before, we've really praised Bittrex and their high confirmation counts. We really wish, instead of just a flat confirmation count, that they would do a variable one, where depending on the depending on how much you're trying to exchange in or out, obviously that would adjust your confirmation counts, just to kind of eliminate from any sort of these issues here. But if you want to find this and read this for yourself, that man on the right, he's one of our marketing members. He posted it on his Medium. But just go to our Twitter, and in fact, I'll post it right here in the chat so you guys can see that. Just go over there, take a look at it. So we're going to go over kind of what happened. So between the end of November and the time of writing this, there were several attempts at a double spend on the Vertcoin network. So a double spend is basically when you take over 51% attack and you either deposit or you remove the coins from an exchange. And then when the reorg happens after you stop your attack, then that no longer happens, but you have the coins in your account. That's a really high level, minimalistic view of what a 51% attack is. But, we're not aware of any culprits or victims, but several of the Vertcoin community members and developers kept a close eye on the network and advised everybody to do the same thing. So how is Vertcoin going to fix this? We talked about this really focuses on our last Vertcoin talk, where we talked about Layer 2 Rev 3. We're going to be implementing that hopefully within a month. We're still waiting on a few pieces of software to get finalized, but we should have an announcement here within the coming days, if not a week or so, as to when the block will be where we do that fork. But this is just a temporary thing in order to get the ASICs off the network, and also this should temporarily stop NiceHash, but it's not a permanent NiceHash fix. That's really going to be VertHash. That's what we're going to be doing to fix this. Now, that takes time and effort, and we were already working on that, but, unfortunately we can't flip a switch overnight, because you need to make sure that all of your exchanges and then a majority of your miners and those hosting wallets and stuff upgrade to the latest software. That way you don't get a chain split causing problems there. You want to make sure everybody's on the same chain. We asked the question, is this thanks to not embracing ASICs? And I kind of covered this a little bit earlier, as far as our mindset on that, and the argument that, well, if you just were an ASIC coin, this wouldn't be a problem. And when in fact you see with Bitcoin Cash, it's it's still a problem. It's just more centralized. You have a few people pissing off each other by using all of their ASICs in order to be able to cause a chain split or to cause a reorg, as opposed to here in this case, this looks like somebody just rented the hash power. So you have a company that's facilitating the botnet basically of GPUs to be able to attack coins. So we talked about that in the past. If you want to look at that, you can go on our YouTube channel. We did a whole video dedicated to NiceHash and kind of the way we're looking at addressing that problem. Because for us, we don't want people to be able to rent hash power to attack a coin. If you want to sell your hash power, that's your prerogative. Unfortunately, when you do that, you are contributing to the ability for somebody to use that for malicious purposes. And that's an unfortunate downside to the service. I understand why the service is there. It's very user friendly. You don't have to think about it. It automatically converts over to the most profitable coin at that time, and you get paid in Bitcoin. But for me, the reason I don't use it is, one, I want to support our network only, and because I trust and I believe in our network, but also I don't want to contribute to the attack of any other coin by selling my hash power. So I want to have control over that. But we'll go through here. So the final argument, which was made by Mark Nesbitt, I think that's how you say his last name. Sorry if I'm butchering that, but he's from Coinbase, and he said, in his article on the topic, that anyone in the world can attack a general purpose mine chain, which is what Vertcoin. Anyone that doesn't have ASICs exclusively on the network, that is considered a general purpose mine chain, while an attack on an ASIC chain is exclusive to the existing miners. So that's what I was just talking about before. You can kind of see our response to that. And then, if you want to know what our end game is, we're very transparent on our end game, what we want from the community, what we believe a cryptocurrency as a currency should be, where anybody can actually participate in the consensus. But ASIC resistance has been an uphill battle. It is, because a lot of people will say, well, you're just fighting innovation, and it's like, no, we're fighting centralization of the manufacturing, centralization of the buying process, centralization of who has control over that stuff. The fact that a lot of people will forget that there's that back door that was on all of the Bitmain ASICs. That was a big story for a few weeks, and then everybody forgot about it. It's still there. If it's not that one, they may have implemented another one. But to think that where you're using software and hardware in this case that's not open source at all. You have to trust somebody that they're going to handle your hardware and your mining without malicious intent. Which for me, that's not okay with me. I want to be able to trust but verify, what's going on with my mining and my hardware, and how it's contributing or hurting a particular network. Like I said, several developers have worked on a new algorithm implementation. Most of the work, however, goes into making sure the entire ecosystem supports the new algorithm. Everyone actively involved in Vertcoin believes that egalitarian accessibility to mining is crucial. So we want everybody to be able to mine. We want everybody to be able to contribute to the consensus. Those are our goals. We want ASICs off. We want the NiceHash rent attack to not be available as well. But some of the things that have been very interesting over the last day or so is that we've been getting comments about many other teams and coins that are dealing with weak networks and stuff are trying to push master nodes and DPoW, which is delayed proof of work. It's another excuse for centralization. And something that you guys have to understand is that any proof of work coin, even Bitcoin, it's susceptible to these types of attacks simply because of its decentralization. You don't have one person or one entity, such as a company, controlling who gets approved, verifying this is the approved chain, or throwing out stuff because they are running master nodes, or any sort of checkpointing mechanisms. That's any proof of work. And remember, the big revelation in cryptocurrencies was the proof of work architecture, being able to have a decentralized consensus mechanism where you didn't have to trust the person next to you to make sure that all of the transactions and everything was validated. Just keep that in mind whenever you're looking at look, delayed proof of work is not happening on Vercoin. It completely goes against our value systems. Anybody who isn't familiar with Vercoin, please go to our website, look up our specs and our thoughts and processes on running proof of work and stuff of that nature. It's simply not going to happen. We're going to do everything in our power, from a algorithm and other technological advances, to stop ASICs and to make it so that NiceHash, the RenAttack style systems, are not even a viable option on Vercoin, and still maintain the decentralization of mining to the utmost. So that's what we are looking to do as a project. So just like he said here, finally, I want to say the Vercoin is here to stay. We're not going anywhere. You can't, even if you drive the price down to zero, we don't get paid. We're all volunteers, so we're still here for the vision and for the philosophy behind the coin. We're not going anywhere, and we will not compromise on decentralization by implementing centralized controls, or by not giving up the fight on ASICs. A lot of projects, they will say they're ASIC resistant, and then when ASICs come around, they're like, oh, we just got to give in. And unfortunately, we're not that easy to roll over, and we're dedicated to being able to fight this. We're ambitiously aiming to be the dominant mining algorithm for GPUs in the future. Unfortunately, some algorithms right now, there are ASICs for them, but they're not very efficient. So you won't get a 1,000 fold for the so if the ASIC costs $1,000, you're not going to get a 1,000 fold performance over a GPU rig that costs $1,000. That's where ASICs really start to outpace. And but some algorithms, they are smart in the way that they're using memory and such of that nature, so that the ASICs that are on the network, they're not nearly as efficient. But as time goes on, as more developments are made on that ASIC, then GPUs are going to become less and less profitable, and their ability to mine and contribute to consensus is going to completely fall off over time. It's going to steadily go down. So we want to make sure that we are the dominant mining algorithm for GPUs in the future. And in the meantime, please ensure that you protect yourself against double spends. There's no damage being done to the blockchain itself. You can still use the network. However, please make sure that you give large transactions plenty of confirmations in order to confirm your money is safe. So that's the one thing that we want to make sure and hearken. And hopefully the exchanges will hopefully develop some sort of variable system to where if there's a huge, and this is the thing, when you're doing a double spend, you want to do it for a large amount of currency, because you only have, if it takes you $1,000 or $100 or $10,000 to do 300 confirmations, you want to get the most bang for that buck. So obviously you're going to need a large transaction to happen on that double spend whenever you're doing the 51% attack, in order to make it worth it. So these variable confirmations may be a good idea as far as if you're shipping over 5 VTC, you probably don't need 300 confirmations. But if you're doing 50,000, then yeah. So let's go over here and let's look at the different questions that we got here real quick. Let's see. At least everyone today talked about Vercoin today, but in a bad way. Well, I mean, that's the thing, because we don't pay cryptocurrency news sites to promote us or to promote an article about us or anything like that. A lot of times bad news will catch more traction because it draws eyeballs, and at the end of the day, a lot of these websites, they want eyeballs for their revenue from their advertising and stuff. So that makes sense. It's whatever at the end of the day. I know we had a lot of people ask us, what are we going to do about the 51% attack? And you could tell that nobody most of the people who asked that question had not even read the dev update that we did just a few days before, where it explained what we're doing, why we're doing it, and to get rid of the ASICs and the RenAttack or RenAttack stuff for NiceHash. So hopefully, if anything, that pointed them over there and they got to read up a little bit more on that. So Let's see. Why would people trust this coin now? Could happen again. Well, it could happen again. It could happen to any proof of work coin. I talked about that earlier. It's just, I find it that I'm wondering, and this is just me being, I'm just, thinking out loud. So it seems to me like sometimes Vertcoin will get attacked specifically because of our value system, because we are so staunchly anti-ASIC, anti-masternode, anti-centralization, that people who support that stuff, support ASIC, support centralization, support masternodes and all this stuff, maybe they have maybe they use this as a way to promote their own products. Because Vertcoin is well known for its ASIC resistance and the philosophy behind it. They feel if they can attack that, then that, I don't know if it's like, you pick the biggest dude in the place. When you go into the bar, you attack him first. Nobody else is going to mess with you or question you. I don't know if that's the mindset behind it. Like I said, I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know. I have no proof of that or anything like that, but I don't know if that's why. And we're not the only coin that's been attacked. Other ones have been attacked as well. It just so happens that this one happened this weekend. Let's see, any other questions we got here. It's much harder to do it on Digibyte Coin. Not really, actually. It's not much harder to do it on Digibyte Coin because at the end of the day, it uses 5 algorithms, and it swaps between them. It tries to manage the hash rate so that one's not dominant over another. But you can spread out. If the algorithms that you're using do not have a lot of hash power associated with them, then you can easily spread out a nice hash attack amongst multiple algorithms, and you can still perform it all. You can still do that. So having multiple algorithms in your mining, it doesn't necessarily prevent this from happening. It may make it a little bit more difficult because you don't have to target it just one mining algorithm, but it's still possible. So let's see here. Does 51 attack affect price? It seems stable. No, it doesn't affect price at all. Because the only people who get hit by a 51% attack is if you were to move your coins to an exchange during that attack or to another person's wallet. Then if that is done during the 51% attack, you could be on the different chain. So that could result in a loss of coins. Which is, that's highly unfortunate. But the big person who gets hit with this and the targeted person for a 51% attack is an exchange, because an exchange has to keep a large volume of coins inside of their local wallets in order to facilitate transactions between people selling coins, people buying coins. So they are the target. Your average user is not going to be the target. So when it comes to a 51% attack, you really don't have to worry about it too much, as long as you're not moving stuff around all over the place during the 51% attack. And there's no way for anyone to tell you a 51% attack is happening right now. There's no way. There's no mechanism on the on the blockchain or in the software or anything like that that can facilitate that, because the person's doing the mining and they're withholding those blocks, and that's why you get a big spike of orphans whenever you look at the block explorer. That's what's happening with that. So unfortunately, you don't know until it has happened and they have published all of those blocks. So let's see. Let's look at some other questions here. If you have any questions, put them in the YouTube chat, in the Discord. Let's see. See here. If you're in the Discord and you're in the general, then I'll look on there. Let's see. So will Ledger support the fork? Kind of want to know. Yeah, Ledger's going to support it. They have updated their wallet that works with the Ledger every time that we pushed out an update. So I don't see why they would not, especially if this is the fork that is promoted by the developers and our team for a specific reason. There's no reason for them not to support it. So they've been really good as far as updating their stuff. So I don't see any problem with that. Now, one thing you want to do is you want to make sure to confirm with them. Now, we don't control the wallet that Ledger or Trezor, any of those third parties use. We don't control, we can't force them to update. They have to do that themselves. So make sure to reach out to them when the new wallet comes out, the new version of the wallet and new miners and all that stuff all come out. Make sure to alert them, and we try to be as we'll sound the trumpet as loud as we can. But when they get a lot of feedback from their user base, they're more active to update that stuff right away. So make sure to let them know that the latest the latest wallet has come out. Let's see. So did you buy? I mean, they were only out just a few days, I believe, or a month, maybe longer than Vercoin. So it's same length, roughly chain. Let's see. Let's see what we got here in Discord. Let's see. 4chan. Anyone else hear him? Let me see. Can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure you can hear me here. Let me make sure. Yeah, so you guys should be able to hear me. Any other questions or anything? Talking about the 51% attack that happened over the weekend. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Yep. All right. Cool. Well, I'm gonna get ready to hop off here. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to come into our Discord. We're always available. We're working hard to try and get Rev 3 out and done. So if you message a dev, or if you're talking in general chat and you ping a dev or something like that, and they don't get back to you right away, do understand we are. I mean, not only on top of doing our day jobs and taking care of family and everything else like that, we're also trying to work on getting Rev 3 finalized. We're also still doing R&D for Vert Hash. So just make sure to just give a little bit of time for the person to respond back to you here. Any giveaways with the fork? Probably not. The last giveaway that we did was the St. Patrick's Day promotion, and we didn't really have a lot of people participate in it. I don't know. For some reason, people weren't really interested in doing the giveaway. So, we don't really like to do giveaways a lot, because at the end of the day, anything we give away is going to be stuff that was donated to us for the purpose of keeping the coin going. It's different if a community member wants to donate to us specifically for a giveaway, and we can then give that away on a Vercoin talk or something like that. We can do that, no problem. But the dev fund, the marketing fund, all that stuff, that's really to help, one, keep servers and things like that running, to be able to implement mining software and stuff like that, and then also if we're doing any sort of advertising or anything like that of a new algorithm or a fork like this, then a lot of that is going to that. And the good thing is that you can look at all of the donation wallets, and you can see that where we spend money, and we tell you guys every month when we spend money, the money that we bring in, or the Vercoin that we bring in. So yeah, I don't have any plans for doing a giveaway, but we'll see. Let's see. Just arrived. Who was affected? To my knowledge, the only people that could be affected would be Bittrex, maybe, but they haven't confirmed that. When you're talking the volume of coins that Bittrex are dealing with on a day in and day out, if somebody double spends $10,000-$15,000 worth of Vercoin, that's really not a lot with what they're dealing with. That's, sometimes they might even consider that an accepted risk factor when it comes to being an exchange. But they have not said anything to us as far as if they were affected by it or not. So everyone should be all right, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it for today. Like I said, if you got any questions, swing on over into our Discord. But look back here, hopefully within the next week or two, we'll be doing another Vercoin talk, and we will see you again in the next one.